Hello, good afternoon. I hope this video finds you all well. It's a beautiful day at Poldu Cove. The sun is shining, the sky is blue, the sea is calm. If you open the door, you can smell spring on the air, and it is so quiet. Like we live in a quiet area anyway, but you know, this morning where you may have heard traffic, people travelling to work, it just wasn't there. And of course, the other thing that we've woken up to today in the UK is that Prince Charles has coronavirus, and it just goes to show that no one is exempt from catching this virus. We all have to take the proper precautions. We are very, very much holed up. We are going out once a day to walk Bertie and choosing very isolated spots so that we don't see anybody. Now last night I drove to Pridanik to walk Bertie, because you're sort of pretty much guaranteed there not to bump into anybody at all. And on the way up there were a herd of cows on the lane, and that was quite an experience trying to get what must have been about 50 odd cows back into a field. I was glad I had my hat and my scarf so I could do lots of waving to try and shoo them in. Stitching wise, I don't seem to have as much time for stitching and for reproducing. I think it's probably my level of concentration isn't so great, but I have done some stitching and I wanted to show it to you. I have been busy filling in what I am now going to call lemons. I don't know if they are lemons, but they do look a little bit like lemons. And of course, when I was stitching and thinking about lemons, I was thinking about that saying that if you're given lemons, you make lemonade. And, you know, we really all need to use this time when we're in isolation and lockdown to be productive and to use that time to enrich our brains, our health, you know, whatever. Even if you sort of paint the house or you garden or you know, we just all have to do something. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm very pleased. This sample is going to be very, very pretty. I thought it would be really, really nice to show you each video an antique sampler that I have in my collection, and today we're going to look at a very pretty sampler, and this one is Elizabeth Crane. Now I'm going to try and show you this so we can avoid reflection. That's a lovely top band, some really pretty motifs there, and the border is really, really nice on this one, an interesting border. We have a fabulous Adam and Eve there. I love that serpent with the satin stitches on there, and I also like their little modesty wraps around their middles. And if our lockdown goes on for too long, I think my hair will be as long as Eve's. I just thought that was so pretty, but what really, really is pretty on this one is this little princess. To me, that little figure is a princess in a beautiful gown. Isn't that gorgeous? So I believe that the stitches in this sampler are cross stitch over 2. I've got a funny feeling the verse on this is cross stitch over 2 because this linen is so fine. I wouldn't be surprised. And then we have cross stitch over 1 for Adam and Eve's bodies, and we have satin stitch and Algerian eyelet. And Elizabeth Crane, her work, aged 14 in 1807. That's quite a magnificent sampler. She must have been so chuffed with herself when she finished that. And her parents must have been very proud of her work as well. So this is one that I do intend to reproduce. It's different, and as I always say, I like different, but it's the little princess in that lovely gown. And look at the sash around her middle and, hanging down. Really, really pretty, that. That's about it stitching wise. What I was going to say to you, that I often spend an evening with a friend stitching via the internet, and on Facebook. I know many of you will be on Facebook and be familiar with this, but there will also be many people who are not. Facebook have a facility called Messenger, and it's free to use, and when you use Messenger you can type little messages and send them back and forth between you, a bit like texting, but also you can use Messenger to have an audio call or a video call. And I often spend an evening stitching with a friend via a video call. Myself and Krista from Just Stitching Along often do that, and earlier this week we spent 3 hours on Facebook Messenger on a video call, and we were both stitching and chatting away just as if we were sat next to each other. Again, last night I spent a long time chatting with a friend, or in fact last night I chatted to 2 friends and stitched for most of the evening. And it's a great way of being in company and just sharing your day. And there's going to be a lot of people who are all by themselves in isolation. So if you're watching and you haven't got Facebook Messenger, that's something that you ought to try and set up on your phone or your tablet, and join in with the groups, the needlework groups on Facebook. It will give you companionship in this time. I'll tell you a little funny story. Well, it is funny, but it's not funny. Last night when I was talking and I was stitching, I put my needle in my mouth, which you should never do, and I went to go and cut another piece of thread, and I was talking, and I opened my mouth to talk, and the needle fell out. And I was wearing a polo neck jumper with a scarf wrapped around my neck, and I was using a number 12 beading needle, which is very, very fine, and it's quite a short needle. And you know what? I could not find that needle, and I was feeling, took my scarf off, felt through it, checked all my jumper, then my lap, then I stood up, checking my seat, and this went on for ages. And then it suddenly occurred to me that when I opened my mouth to speak, I could have inhaled the needle. And do you know what? The moment I thought that, I felt a lump in my throat. And then a bit later on, I felt a lump there. And I was quite convinced I had swallowed this needle. But anyway, at the very, very end of the evening, when I stood up and I went to put my chair and my light and everything back in their places, I happened to see a glint on the floor, and my needle was there. And the moment I found my needle, that lump went. But there we are. A tip: don't do what I do. Don't put a needle in your mouth. Anyway, this video is only intended to be a little pop in and a pop back out. Just want you all to know that I almost forgot. I wanted to say something else in this video. Yesterday, the Attic Needleworks in Mesa, Arizona launched their own Flosstube channel. Now, the Attic Needleworks is a destination store for sampler lovers, and whilst I've been very blessed to be able to go there, I know that many people haven't, and they would love to go to the attic. Well, now the Attic Needleworks has come to you, and they plan to do regular videos showing products that they have got. Now the store is actually closed at the moment, as many stores are closed, but they are still able to fulfill email and telephone orders. If you go and have a look at their Flosstube channel, you will see a video that shows some fabulous goodies that they brought back from Nashville. The linen is to die for, and the one thing that I really loved were all the little boxes and kits that came with the boxes. Absolutely fabulous. So have a look at that video. I promise you, you will absolutely love all the goodies that you see. And if you want to order anything that's shown on that video, then you can email the attic or you can telephone them, and they will get back to you. At this time, I cannot stress the importance of spreading your custom around all the needlework stores. There are some stores that have a very strong internet presence, and they have online stores, but there are so many other stores that only have sort of like a small presence on the internet, or they do not have any presence at all, and they don't have online stores. But even in these times, we can help those stores keep going by spreading our custom around all the stores that we can. We want those stores to be open at the end of this. Okay, that was my little addition to the video. Anyway, this video is only intended to be a little pop in and a pop back out. Just want you all to know that I'm thinking of you. I'm praying for all of us, and until the next time, stay safe, stay well, and bye-bye.